Both Nicholas Jackson and Liam Delap reportedly being targeted by a Premier League club. Andrey Santos might be on his way out to Italy. Chelsea are reportedly targeting another player from Sporting Lisbon, but this time he's not a child. According to reports, none of the Chelsea squad so far have asked to leave this summer. Fabrizio Romano reports that there is no current plan to change out Liam Rosenior before the end of the season. But if you were to go, I want to talk about who I think should replace him and why he's doing so well at his current club. Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. And it is the international break. And for me, I don't know about you guys, but it couldn't have come a moment sooner. Oh, it's been rough recently, hasn't it? It's been so rough. I can only hope, as I'm sure the rest of you agree, that we can take this time, decompress a little bit, right? Just everyone can put their heads back on and sort out whatever's going on behind the scenes, and hopefully when we come back against Port Vale on the 4th of April, things are going to start looking a little bit better. But guys, before we get into it, if you are enjoying my content and would like to see more, please do me the distinct honour of liking and sharing the video, subscribe to the channel, or just roast me in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. So right, let's just jump straight into it. So first we're going to talk about Newcastle, and supposedly they are targeting some of our players. Transfer News Live has reported via Graham Bailey, Newcastle are intensifying their search for a new number 9 ahead of the summer window, with the hierarchy not completely satisfied with the debut seasons of Johan Visser or Nick Waltemada. There is strong interest from the club in Chelsea striker Liam Delap and on loan Bayern forward Nicholas Jackson as they explore attacking options. So there's some credence to this because they targeted both of those players in the summer, right? So we pipped them to Liam Delap. Essentially, they offered the same money we did. It was a 30 mil buyout clause from Ipswich, and he chose to come to Chelsea instead of going to Newcastle. And just before Nicholas Jackson went on loan to Bayern Munich, I'm pretty sure that they put an offer, or they were talking about putting an offer in for him, but obviously Nicholas Jackson really wanted to go to Bayern for that loan move, which hasn't gone particularly well for him. So where are we with this? So the thing is, Liam Delap, 32 appearances, 2 goals, one of which came against a 10-man Barcelona. His best performance in a Chelsea shirt so far has been a hat-trick of assists against Hull in the FA Cup. Look, it's really difficult with Liam Delap because do I think there's potential in there for him to develop into a good player? Yes, of course I do. He proved it with Ipswich that he can definitely function in the Premier League. But where we are at the moment is he's had a lot of game time. He's had a lot of time. He's worked under 2 different managers. And thus far, he's not been demonstrating the sort of form that he had at Ipswich, and not necessarily the potential that we are wanting to see in order to be like, yeah, okay, he's definitely worth sticking around with. Now, I know a lot of you guys are big Liam Delap fans and think he should stick around. I'm not like I want him out, but at the same time, if someone comes in with an offer for him, someone comes in with an offer for him. And there was another tweet talking about Liam Delap in particular that says, Chelsea are ready to listen to offers for striker Liam Delap this summer. Newcastle are keen, but have been warned it will take around 40 mil to secure the deal. The 23-year-old has scored 2 goals in 32 matches for the Blues this season since joining from Ipswich. So look, 40 mil, not a huge amount of money. We got him for 30 because of the buyout clause. And that seemed like a deal at the time. Do you know what I mean? So Newcastle potentially looking at 40 mil for Liam Delap, who is a young striker who would fit their football pretty well, I think. You know, obviously Waltemada is like kind of a big loafy striker, isn't he? And, you know, maybe they're not super happy with him, but he looked good against us in that first game we played them this season, didn't he? Put 2 pretty good, like, you know, poachery striker goals past us. But with Liam Delap, what there is a huge amount of potential, and 40 mil... Even though, like, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because I hear 40 mil for Liam Delap and I'm like, yeah, that sounds reasonable. But at the same time, it's 2 goals and 32 appearances for us. But you have to add on really the 12 goals from Ipswich, don't you? And in our position at the moment, Liam Delap is just not fitting our system. Like, it's just not happening. It's just not working. Whether it be because of how he's been used by the managers, or he doesn't fit the style of football, or whatever, what is not going to happen, we are not going to change our football to suit Liam Delap. Unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to happen. If he is that loafy, flat-track bully Premier League striker that can, you know, bully defenders, hang around the box and get the odd poacher's goal or, you know, something like that, then, you know, fair enough, that's what it's going to be. But you only have to look at our manager appointments and how the rest of the team has been built. Like, we're not set up for this kind of striker to do particularly well. I think Liam Delap was a good opportunity at the end of the day when we got him 30 mil for a striker that's just scored 12 goals in the Premier League. He's young, he's English, he's homegrown. Like, there's lots of reasons why 30 mil, and you know, it was lots of reasons why financially it was a good buy, but it's not worked out on the pitch. And we keep seeing Liam Delap being brought on to try and change games, and it's not happening, is it? It's not happening. So look, personally, like, we've got a mega coming in at the end of the season, right? Now, instantly, that looks much more like the kind of striker that I think will suit our team. He a lot more like Nicholas Jackson was, who obviously was mentioned as well. I think Newcastle will probably prefer to have Nicholas Jackson, but I reckon he's going to cost 60 mil, isn't he? 50, 60 mil. Liam Delap for 40 mil at 23 years old is there's still potential there. Do you know what I mean? There's still potential there. So guys, let me know in the comments, how do you feel about Liam Delap? If Newcastle came in with 40 mil for Liam Delap, would you take it? Or do you think we should really keep him around, give him another season? It's a difficult one because a few of our players that have gone on to do really well have kind of blossomed in their second seasons, right? In particular, I'm thinking about Moises Caicedo, Marc Cucurella. Even João Pedro has taken to the latter end of the season. Do you know what I mean? And Liam Delap has been really unlucky with injuries, but also he's not done himself any favours with elbowing people in the face and getting sent off. So yeah, guys, let me know in the comments, how do you feel about the Liam Delap situation? Nicholas Jackson, I'm pretty sure we're just expecting to see go anyway, but would you rather keep Liam Delap around, or do we give him another season? Next up, we're going to talk about Andrey Santos, and this one is bizarre. It's wild. I just don't get it, because when Liam Rosenior came in, even before Liam Rosenior came in, when Callum McFarlane was at the wheel for those couple of games, Andrey Santos looked like he was transformative to our team. Andrey Santos then continued to play game after game after game after game after game. Do you know what I mean? It's like he literally played this massive stretch of like 8 to 10 games for Liam Rosenior at the beginning, and then all of a sudden, bam, dropped. And now Romeo Lavia is back. Romeo Lavia seems to be getting a lot more game time, like he started against Everton. He's been getting more minutes recently. Dario Basugo got a little run out in our last FA Cup game, I think it was. But all of a sudden, Andrey Santos has gone from being, oh, okay, look, here's a really good midfielder that we've got, and bam, all of a sudden he's just gone again. Like, I don't understand what it is, which is really weird as well, isn't it? Because Andrey Santos and Liam Rosenior have got all of that time together at Strasbourg, where Andrey Santos developed into the player that he is, and it really looks like there's a lot there. Personally, I really like Andrey Santos, and I think as far as squad depth goes, like, brilliant. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely brilliant. So, PYS posted par Fabrizio Romano, Inter Milan really like Andrey Santos. In 2025, they met with his agent, but it was not feasible then. Chelsea rejected more than a €50 million from Saudi too. Let's see in the summer whether Chelsea get UCL or not, and what type of choices they will make in their midfield. I don't see him going to Saudi. I think he's well too young, man. He's like 22. I mean, it's nuts. You can't go to Saudi. Like, at the end of the day, if he wants to go to Saudi and they come in with a huge bid for him, yeah, of course we'll sell him. Of course we'll sell him. But I just think it's wild that we're even talking about it in the first place. Do I think he'd do well in Italy? Yes, absolutely. I think he'd probably do really, really well in that Inter Milan team. You know, he's not only athletic, like, he can be creative. He's got an eye for a goal. We've used him largely as quite a defensive midfielder, but he is really versatile and he can play in a lot of different positions in midfield. I wouldn't like to see Andrey Santos go. Like, Dario Basugo looks like he could be good. He had a really good run out, but again, we've barely seen him. Romeo Lavia made of glass, do you know what I mean? And we've only got to look at the Reece James situation we're currently in, where Reece James has basically been fit for this whole season and pulled up with his hamstring injury again. Romeo Lavia, it's always going to be a gamble. We can't rely on Romeo Lavia being our solid midfield depth and just hope to be able to rely on him. Romeo Lavia always has to be treated like a luxury. Andrey Santos, on the other hand, seems to always be fit. He seems to always be available. He's always either on the field or on the bench, and he's always training, do you know what I mean? And we haven't had any injury issues with him yet. And he went from barely playing at all in the start of the season to playing every single game, and then has just absolutely disappeared again. So look, I would hate to see Andrey Santos go personally. I think that's a wild decision. But if the player wants to move, then the player wants to move. I do feel very much like I don't want, especially right now with how difficult things have been, I don't want players hanging around that don't want to be here. I can't figure it out in my head. Like, I've got no idea how he's gone from Liam Rosenior's golden boy all of a sudden to just falling off the face of the earth again. I don't get it. So guys, again, let me know in the comments, what do you think? Andrey Santos for me is a keep, but if an Inter Milan or a Saudi were to come in with 40 to 50 million for him, you know, and the interesting thing from the Fabrizio Romano tweet here is it says as well, and what type of choices they will make in midfield. So are we looking at a midfield overhaul? There's been a lot of talk about Valentin Barco from Strasbourg, who does look really good, don't get me wrong. Enzo Fernandez may be on his way out too. So are we looking at literally like revamping our midfield completely apart from Moises Caicedo? I don't know, but either way, let me know what you think about it in the comments. So from the couple of outs, we're going to talk about a potential in. Recently, Chelsea and Tottenham are both targeting a move to sign Sporting left-back Maxi Araujo after scouting the Uruguay international this season. The 26-year-old has a market value of 25 million euros. So look, every now and again, so the headline news there is he's not a child. Do you know what I mean? He's not from a massive team in a big league or whatever, but he is a really important player for Sporting, and he's 26. Adds a little bit of experience and depth. He scored 6 goals and got 4 assists for Sporting Lisbon this season, mostly from left back, but also can play a left midfield role. He's actually a lot like Valentin Barco, which is interesting. Do you know what I mean? Is that instead of Barco? Is that, you know, do we get both of those players and reinforce that same kind of spot that we're looking for? I don't know, but I don't hate it as a depth option, but it does raise questions, doesn't it? It does raise questions because Marc Cucurella has got that spot locked down for the most part, and I think Yoro Hato looks like a very, very good deputy. So unless he is being targeted in order to reinforce the midfield, because he does play as a midfielder quite often, rather than a left-back, do we need all 3 of them? Like, I don't know. 6 goals and 4 assists is a great return for a left-back, don't get me wrong. And much like Valentin Barco, like I say, really, really good performance and can play in that midfield spot as well. So if Liam Rosenior is identified, I mean, and it makes sense, doesn't it, with Liam Rosenior being the manager, if he's like, I need a midfielder like Valentin Barco in my first team, but I also need a backup one to be able to play that same position so I can keep my football the same. So maybe that's what it is. Valentin Barco comes in to start because he's been performing really, really well, or maybe they both come in to kind of reinforce this sort of position, this left-backy midfielder, but it's not even an inverted midfielder thing. Maybe it is, I don't know, I'm just rambling at this point, but there's just so much news and trying to figure it out is an absolute nightmare. So guys, let me know what you think about it in the comments as always. He looks like a good player. We've done reasonably well out of Sporting so far, and I say that obviously we haven't seen much of Dario Asugo, but he has looked good recently. Giovanni Quenda looks like he's going to absolutely tear it up, and this guy, Maximilian Araujo, has been playing really well for them as well, and I'm just kind of interested because he's not 12 years old. Right, so moving on, we're going to talk a little bit about an article from Mail Sport that has been reposted by Transfer News Live pertaining to Chelsea players not asking to leave as of right now. There's been a lot of talk about Enzo Fernandez, and there's this idea that a lot of players have got one eye out the door, and it looks like it, doesn't it? Because things have been so abject and poor recently. None of Chelsea's squad have asked to leave the club in the summer despite their struggles on field. Liam Rosenior has been spending increased time with Chelsea sporting directors Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart of late. They have been having detailed conversations surrounding the summer, specifically looking at which positions they should strengthen. So look, there's kind of a lot to get into here, isn't it? It's a reasonably short tweet, but at the same time there's a lot to unpack. So the first thing, the big thing, supposedly as of 19 hours ago, yesterday, none of the Chelsea players are asking to leave. And there is talk about, you know, the Enzo Fernandez stuff basically came out from his interview he did, I think it was after the PSG game with ESPN Argentina, right? The Argentina branch of ESPN. And he didn't say, like, they asked him, like, are you going to be here next season? He was like, who knows? Football's football. I just want to focus on what I'm doing now. You never know what can happen. He's come out after that and said, like, you know, mistranslations, misconstrued, this, that, and the other, whatever. But ultimately, you know, it is what it is, isn't it? But there's a message coming out saying the players aren't trying to move en masse. So hopefully that's true, because we need to keep some of our best stars. The next thing, Liam Rosenior has been spending increased time with Chelsea sporting directors Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart of late. So that's good and bad news at the same time, isn't it? Because the sporting directors, the head co-sporting directors of the army of sporting directors that we have at the club have thus far not done a really good job. If you look at, you know, this summer in particular has been a bit of a wash, hasn't it? It's been a bit of a wash. Apart from João Pedro. And João Pedro has been really good. Everyone else has kind of sucked a little bit, man. Yoro Hato, is playing his position well. Do you know what I mean? He's being very versatile. He's a backup player. He's being asked to, fill in a lot of different positions and stuff. But you got to look at like the big money we spent on like Garnacho and Gittins, and it's just like, oh, it looks so terrible, doesn't it? It looks so terrible. So the bad news is it looks like no one's going anywhere. Do you know what I mean? We're going to get into that about Liam Rosenior in a minute as well. But it looks like the sporting directors and Liam Rosenior are planning for next season, and that in itself already tells you a lot. What is good about that is hopefully they're more willing to listen to what Liam Rosenior think the team needs than Enzo Maresca, because Enzo Maresca said after the Levi Colwill injury, give me a centre-back, and they were like, no, you can't have one. You just got to work with what you've got, because we do have like 1 million centre-backs on the book, But that, take it as you will, man. Take it as you will. At the end of the day, they're planning for next season. I have a feeling we're going to have a big summer, man. Our financial position is actually not terrible. Like, we're doing all right. Getting rid of players like Raheem Sterling was so massive for freeing up the ability for us to sign players and comply with the UEFA stuff. And we have gotten away with it with the 75 charges as well. I did a little bit of I did a video about that on the other day. It's like a 10 mil fine and a suspended transfer ban. Basically, suspended meaning if we break the rules again, which we won't because it was only broken under Roman and the last time was in 2018. If we break the rules again, we'll have a transfer ban. But if we don't, we're fine to keep operating the way we are. So I have a feeling there's going to be a lot more outs, and I've got a feeling we're going to have a big summer. Whether that big summer, led by Liam Rosenior and the co-sporting directors of Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart, is going to be a good one. Only time will tell. But either way, I think we're going to be on for a big push. Okay, next up, we talked a little bit about Liam Rosenior. PYS has reposted from Fabrizio Romano. There's no message of an imminent change on Liam Rosenior. Chelsea don't forget that he arrived in the middle of the season, had no pre-season, and that this is not a squad built for him. Let's see how the final 2 months go, but CFC maintain their support for him. Not surprised at all, absolutely not surprised. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because look, after that performance against Everton, it's the signs aren't good, man. The signs aren't good. If he can't galvanise the players we've got to get a draw or even like a 1-0 loss or whatever, we got pumped 3-0 by Everton, man, and the players looked like they just weren't here. They weren't paying attention. They weren't buying whatever it is that Liam Rosenior is selling. There are a lot of worries about Liam Rosenior long term. If you can't galvanise the squad to not get pumped 3-0 by Everton right now, is he going to be the right guy to handle a load of new transfers? I'm not 100% sure, man. I'm not 100% sure. It's a bit of a worry. But also, I do think changing him now is not necessarily a good idea because there's no one obviously available. And if we end up with an Igor Tudor situation, do you know what I mean? Things could get worse. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but things genuinely could get worse if we sack Liam Rosenior now and put Callum McFarlane in charge for the rest of the season, or got some random interim. The players just going to be like, at least there's consistency if we stay with Liam Rosenior. There's I'm getting back into hopium copium just to save our season. There's a couple of reasons to think that things could work out if we're really lucky. For instance, one of those being that if Aston Villa finish in the top 4 and win the Europa League, top 6 get Champions League instead of just top 5. And our coefficient is looking good in Europe as well. So look, Liam Rosenior could still have a wobbly end to the season and we could still finish in the Champions League. I'm not saying that makes him good enough. I'm just starting to genuinely hope and cope. But I do think sacking him right now is scary. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, who'd you bring in, man? Do we end up with Callum McFarlane for all that pressure for the rest of the season? Or do we get someone like an Igor Tudor who comes in, tries to change things again, and the players just get absolutely sick of it, down tools, and we end up in 12th. So just to finish off the video, talking about the manager, talking about he's probably going to stay. Look, this is the thing, man. He's a company guy. Unless he walks, which I do not think will happen, he's probably going to get kept. But if he wasn't to be kept, who do I want? I've said it a million times, Cesc Fabregas. And here is a really interesting tweet about how he is doing with Como in Serie A with a lot less investment and a really young squad at the moment as well, and a similar style of football to ours, but also just that bit of proper Chelsea. What a team. Como thrashed Pisa 5-0 earlier today and strengthened their 4th place position in Serie A. 4th place. For context, for last season, so when he took over as an interim, they hadn't been in the top flight for like 21 years. He gets them into 6th in their first season, and now they're currently in Champions League football. Like, that's wild. Absolutely wild. Huge respect to Cesc Fabregas for this incredible job he's doing. We could be seeing Como team play Champions League football next season. Look. Look, this is crazy, man. You got to think. Strasbourg, Liam Rosenior at Strasbourg, had the blue coat back in one way or the other. Yes, it was like a young team or whatever, but he had all of that blue coat back in, and we were sending Chelsea players over there all the time and stuff. Cesc Fabregas had nothing, absolutely nothing. He took over while they were in the second tier of Italian football because they sacked their manager because they were doing really badly. He took over as an interim, got them promoted, got the job full time. Finishes 6th place in his first ever Serie A season with a team that's been out of top league football for 20 plus years, and now he's looking like he's getting Champions League football. Cesc Fabregas, the thing I worry about with Cesc Fabregas is someone else getting him. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing at the moment. That is the thing that really worries me, is someone else going in and getting Cesc Fabregas, man. And look, I don't know. It is look. I'm gonna keep backing Rosenior until he's, until it's genuinely Graham Potter terrible. If we lose against Port Vale, do you know what I mean? And then after that, we've got the 2 Manchester clubs. Like, oh mate, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough either way. But Cesc Fabregas, man, he's there. He's there. Mate, not now. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't think sacking Liam Rosenior is a good idea now, and I don't think Fabregas would leave Como right now anyway. But he's becoming a hot property, and I just feel like we're going to miss out. And I love Cesc Fabregas, man. He was one of my favourite players. Absolutely loved him in a Chelsea shirt. Tekker's just unbelievable technician. He was a wizard with the ball at his feet. He wasn't particularly athletic. He's just an intelligent guy. Really, really, really smart guy. And legendary status, right? Which, having those two things together, evidently a really good manager and also player legend. Sounds like a good combo. So, guys, that is it. I'm going to wrap the video up there. Tell me what you think about everything. Liam Delap going to Newcastle, yay or nay? Do you think we should keep him or not? Same with Andrey Santos to Inter Milan. Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think we should keep him around? Maxi Araujo looks to me like he's signalling some sort of positional change, because we're also looking at Valentin Barco, and they seem to me to be quite similar players. Liam Rosenior is being backed by the ownership and is now working very, very closely with the sporting directors in order to strengthen the squad in the summer. And if Liam Rosenior were to go, Fabregas is my guy, and I think if we don't end up with him, he'll go somewhere else and he'll absolutely smash it and it'll be devastating. So that's it, guys. Nice one. Thank you very much for sticking around until the end of the video. If you did, I will catch up with you all very, very soon. Take it easy. Peace.